Hey everybody, it's me again, ready for another real talk. And today I really want to talk about the idea of trusting the process, which is a phrase that's come up many times throughout my life during various, experiences or points of time in which I found that the best thing to do is to just trust that there's a power greater than me that is working and has my back, that things work out the way that they're supposed to, that I don't get to choose what timing they happen, and allowing myself to be okay with that and sort of settle into the discomfort of not knowing what life is doing, but knowing that I will be okay. And so I think that there are four major times that I've experienced where I need to particularly remind myself to trust the process, both because it is difficult to in these times, but also because it's vitally important to in order to get through them with a positive outlook and not let life getting crazy bring you down. So the first instance where I find that I need to remind myself to trust the process is when things fall apart. This may seem like simultaneously the most difficult time to say, oh, I believe everything's going to be okay, and also the most obvious, because when things start to fall apart, you can either start to freak out and break down and have every day be miserable, or at some point there has to be some sort of a shift of your focus so that you can get through the days without being sad all the time. I recently went through a period of time where it really felt like everything was falling apart, and I was not in control of those circumstances. I was experiencing some significant loss, so a very, very difficult academic semester, working my butt off, and that part was working out. But at the end of the day, feeling like I had no energy to go on. And so it's in those moments when you're kind of lying in your bed being like, geez, what is going on? That it's important to listen to maybe that small piece inside you that says, hey, this sucks, but it's not going to suck forever. That's where the trusting the process comes in. You have to trust that this too shall pass, that the storm won't rage forever. You know, whatever phrases like really motivate you and get you through, but the idea that that the universe has a beautiful and divine path for you, and perhaps this pain is part of it, but you're not here to experience pain all day, every day. So don't worry. It won't last forever. And that leads me perfectly into the second time I think I particularly need to remind myself to trust the process, is after a time where things feel like they're falling apart and I remind myself to trust the process, I start to feel better and think that I'm doing great, and then I have another breakdown, or the pain sneaks back in, or like I can't be awesome all the time. And I get frustrated with myself. I'm like, come on, like this is your healing path. You should be so much better at this point. Like, why aren't you? And then I'm hard on myself, which again makes things feel like they're starting to fall apart. And I have to remind myself again to trust the process. That even though things are on an upward trajectory, you can't have good days every day. And it's okay to still be processing hurt. It's still okay to be processing emotions that were deeply impactful, because they too are part of the process of life, of learning and growing as a human. So then we come to the third time where I have to remind myself to trust the process, is when there's nothing particularly painful going on, there weren't any big upsets in my life, I'm just cruising, but I have no idea where I want to go. I know that I have an internship this summer that I hope will be an amazing experience, but in the meantime, like, what am I going to do when I graduate? I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. Where is my life going? Am I going to find a new hobby that I love? Do I go and I reconnect with the old hobbies that I miss? When you're just kind of in there and you start to think like, why am I not doing life correctly? And it's an important time to say, okay, There is no doing life correctly. Trust the process, that there's going to be moments on the journey where you're like, well, I'm just kind of cruising. But the key is then opening yourself up to the idea that opportunities are headed your way. That it's all right that right now the dreams that I have for, my dream career aren't coming to fruition, or that I just have no idea. That's okay sometimes. But then not limiting yourself to believing that that's all that there is. It's then with the trusting the process that because there's that force that is moving for your best and highest good, that you can stop and think, wow, something great must be coming because I have all this space for it, so it must be coming. And when that works, you get the fourth time, in my opinion, that you have to trust the process. And that's when something really good and new and potentially very scary appears for you to enjoy and benefit from. Because sometimes it can be really hard to accept you're good. Especially if you've been in a place where you're kind of struggling or in that sort of limbo, I don't really know what's going on, all of a sudden something is very clear and exciting and, maybe you don't know exactly what it's gonna be, but at this moment it is just amazing. A new job opportunity, a new relationship, things like that you didn't necessarily see coming and are there. Mostly because you opened yourself up to them being there. But then, I don't know about you, but I sometimes get like, oh man, now I have to do this. Now I have to live my life and be joyful and experience new things. And then I have to stop and breathe and say, trust the process. Because this is the great part of the process where you don't know how good it could even be, but the excitement of the possibility of how good it probably will be is something to let sink in, not be so scared of. Because those are the moments that we seek so much in life, are those new, exciting, love-filled moments. And yet, because we're not in control of them, sometimes it can be hard to just let them be. And to be honest, sometimes I feel like I'm experiencing all four of these situations simultaneously or in succession. And the bottom line is that you just have to say, okay, I'm okay. This is going to be okay. And even better than okay. Because I trust the process of my life to unfold in a way that allows me to grow and become the person that I want to be in the world. And for me personally, that's what I really try to focus on, is how can I become the person that can love more fully and widely and deeply in every area of my life, and by not allowing the craziness to take over, but also just sometimes just acknowledging that life is crazy. Sad things happen. Hurtful things happen. But I refuse to believe that that's all that there is. And I always think that there is more of the journey to unfold. And so some of the hurt and the pain is just part of that process to grow and deepen as humans. Right now, I'm really grateful for where I am in this process. And life is cyclical and always changing, so I'm kind of excited, maybe nervous, but mostly excited to see how I continue to grow and deepen and experience ups and downs and in-betweens. And I hope that this provides you some, new perspective about wherever you are in this journey, knowing that when things are falling apart, it's going to be okay. Trust the process because it's part of it. And when you think you're doing better and then you fall apart again, be gentle with yourself and trust the process. When you're just kind of cruising and you're in a good spot but maybe in a rut or just don't know what you want next or where to go, it's okay. It's part of the process too. And finally, when those new things come, those exciting things that are the most exciting part of this life journey and you've attracted for yourself because you're so trusting of the process, say yes to them. Allow yourself to feel that little bit of discomfort of the unknown. But say yes to your joy, because you deserve that. And with that, have a wonderful day, week, infinite amount of time until we see each other again. Thanks for listening to my ramblings, and again, I hope that at least one person gets something out of it, because I feel incredibly wonderful having shared it with you. Thanks. Bye.